time, my entire life. There's if you want to put it on top of here, you can.
Oh, I just didn't want to put it on top of your record player.
Oh, that's fine. It's plastic, so it's no harm. It's not like a nice one or anything. It's like a relatively fine one that had a speaker built in. Because everybody's like, buying records and playing records is like a super annoying hobby because it's one of those hobbies that like people are like, you got to get this one and it costs $200. I'm like, I don't know if I need a $200 turntable that then I need to connect to speakers in order to play these. Like,
it feels kind of like fishing in a way.
Yeah.
Where like, if you have people like locally here, like you have the guys who go to Sanborn Park.
Right.
They've probably bought their rod, reel, everything they need for like maybe under $100.
Right.
And they're still going fishing versus like, well, no, to really fish, you need to buy a boat.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they're like, if you get a shitty player, it'll fuck up your records or something. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Half these records that I'm playing are our mom's records that have just been sitting in a crate for 30 years.
Right.
Like,
like at some point it's like, do they play?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. That's all I really need them to do.
All the inserts and like the album covers are like disintegrated. I'm like, I mean, these aren't collector's items.
Like at some point you're just battling entropy. You're like,
yeah,
the natural devolution.
Yeah. And I'm like, not really playing them for like getting it for collecting purposes. It's more like, it's like, for me, anti-Spotify of just like, oh, you like play a record and then you listen to all the songs in the order that they were intended to be heard in. And then also it's like when you're working at home, it forces me to just stand up like every 20 minutes.
To be like, I have to stand up and flip this record over or change the record or do something different.
Yeah. So it helps me like, I don't know, just not be seated for 7 hours straight or whatever.
Not seated like you're stuck, say, on a subway train.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start then. We'll really start.
We can really start. Did we do the theme song?
You're not gonna say it. Somebody should. Let's talk about two time. Let's talk about bum wine, yeah. You're asking the questions that nobody could. Like where the bone thugs and are they in harmony? Help for Snowman.
Well, I just put it in afterwards these days.
You just you do some actual editing.
I do a small amount of actual editing. I put the theme song in, and then sometimes I add a fade to it if I'm getting real crazy.
If you're getting real fancy, you got an extra 10 minutes today. You're like, I'll fade this out.
Yeah,
today.
And then I usually trim the beginning because I usually start with like a throat clear or something. But I'm like, everyone doesn't need to hear that, right?
Let me clear my throat.
So welcome to this.
Yes.
And we have a guest today, Ian.
Yep. If you didn't hear from the 10 minutes of preamble.
Yeah. And of Rhetoric Society Quarterly
fame. Yes.
Rhetoric Society Quarterly subscriber fame.
That's correct.
You've never been published in this journal.
I have actually. Sort of as part of a, team research project, but yes, I have.
Okay. That's great. How exciting.
It is not very exciting given that particular article has never been cited by anybody else.
Oh, you can see how many times it's been.
Google Scholar gives a fairly good tracking of how often something has been cited. And you're like, well, all right, this was cited once or twice, but it was by the head researcher. So it's a not terribly,
right.
It's not zero, but it's not great.
It's not quite the same. What's an amount of citations that someone can be proud of that you'd be like, all right, that's solid.
See, I haven't gone up for, like, I don't have a tenure line job, so I can't give you a definitive answer, but I do feel like above, like, once you're in double digits,
Okay.
like that feels like the solid number to me, where it's like,
Okay.
because sometimes I can see something cited like once or twice, and that's just like someone citing anything related to your topic. They're just like doing a see also blah 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 blah, like everyone who's cited your topic.
Okay, so maybe hasn't even read it. They just whatever.
They're just like whatever,
throwing it in.
But like if once you're in double digits, you are firmly in the category of at least some of those are going to be like legit, interested. They read your work.
Okay. Gotcha.
You
yeah, I had no idea. It was like 100,000. 7?
Oh, no,
like,
no. See, like when I think about like dissertation advisors, like most cited work, it's like 500 or 600 times.
Okay. So that's for someone who's like published a lot and has a lot of irons in the fire, I guess.
Yeah,
we could
like
say.
he had something that was just, in some ways it was by accident, where he just happened to write about video games very early.
Oh, okay.
And so it's a lot of like people just citing him really, really early on, but it's like 500 or 600. And then everything after that's like, all right, maybe there's like, everyone puts it in their dissertation like one time sort of thing. So like there could be like 100 or like, 90 or something, but it's mostly like, oh, everyone just cites this in their dissertation.
Gotcha. It'd be like if you wrote a paper about like, I don't know, mercury in vaccines, or that mentioned it like right before RFK got into office or whatever. And then it's like, oh, that took off. That was good timing, I guess.
But even then, like if you just have stuff in the double digits, I feel like that's strong for the humanities. For sciences, you probably want way more than that. But that's also because like in the sciences, they're like going to oversight. Like if you vaguely touched on the topic, like tangentially, you get cited.
Oh, okay.
So
I see. So it's a little lower barrier to citation in the sciences than in Rhetoric Society Quarterly.
Like in the sciences, it's very much a, did you even glance next to the topic? They'll cite you anyway. Whereas in the like humanities is more like we're still kind of using your argument or kind of using something from it. So it's worth a little bit more.
Right.
But that's part of why, like, okay, like 10 is pretty good, whereas like 100 might be really good for science.
What do you think? Okay, if I created and like, I recently discovered, because as you may know, I do a newsletter, and for about a year, I was rewriting the novelization of the movie Batman and Robin. And I was like trying to figure out what to do with this, because I'm like, well, I have like a book length thing. But I'm like, but I certainly can't get it published because like DC Comics there's no way, you know what I mean? Or Warner Brothers or whoever the fuck owns whatever.
AOL Time Warner.
Yeah.
I refuse to change the AOL out of it.
Exactly. AOL Time Warner. You and a friend of the show, Alex, email address.
That's
refuse to go away from AOL.
I refuse, like I hold AIM in my heart.
Yeah. That was a good little chat. Anyway, so I've recently discovered that an option may be like on Alibaba, you can custom print books.
Sure.
And I'm like, I'm pretty suspicious that they probably don't vet the content. You know what I mean? I'm guessing that you probably just send it in, and because it's definitely coming on a boat from China. And I'm like, I don't think China probably cares.
China just probably doesn't care a whole lot about U.S. copyright law.
Yeah, especially of something that's not visual, and especially of something like a novelization ripoff.
It seems kind of like AOL Time Warner would have to demonstrate that there's still a huge market for a novelization for Batman and Robin, the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, you could probably, it's unfortunate that your spouse is not here for this legal stuff, but I feel like I could mount a pretty good fair use defense in that, like you're saying, if there ever was a market for the Batman and Robin novelization, certainly, what is it? How long is it? I mean, 30 years later, it's completely dried up.
like at some point you have to sort of strike while the iron is hot. Where okay, so I've seen there's a Blu-ray of Batman and Robin for reasons.
Yeah.
How much do you think the Blu-ray is priced on the Amazon?
So this is like a new Blu-ray?
Yeah, relatively new Blu-ray.
Oh, man. I'm trying to think like what a new Blu-ray costs in general because it's been so fucking long since I bought one. But I would guess somewhere around $16 is an average price. I'm going to guess Batman and Robin is $8.99.
It's $13.99 for the Blu-ray.
Yeah. I mean, it's still overpriced. I guess it depends. Okay. You know what I would accept? Here's what they should do with Batman and Robin if they were smart. They should create a version of that movie that just has like, I don't know, 25 different commentary tracks on it. It's got like one commentary track that's like, what the hell happened? And it's got another one that's like just by, I don't know, comic booky people.
Right.
Just, explaining like.
Comic book nerds.
Yeah, or like Mystery Science Theater type of commentary tracks. I mean, that movie is so ripe for like an MST3K kind of thing.
So it seems like it's basically part of an HBO Max subscription, which we currently do have. Shout out to friend of the show, Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
She mostly got HBO Max to watch The Pit.
Oh, okay. That's what that's on.
Which I can say is that every time I walk into the room when she's watching The Pit, like I'll be in a different part, like I'll be in my bedroom or in the office, and I walk into the living room where she's watching The Pit. Every time I walk in, like something huge, surgically and weird is going on. Like
right.
Once I walked in, there's just a dude's erect penis about to get jabbed with a needle.
Now, do they actually like show a penis?
They show a penis.
And needle going into the penis?
I didn't see if the needle was going into the penis, but there's like a needle and like some erect looking dong.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, I'm going to opt out of this one to watch this. Cause I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't like where this is going. And also I have no narrative context for this.
There's some movie where a character tells another character and it's like a adult talking to a kid and is like, be thoughtful about what you look at because some things go into your mind and you can't, they're there forever or something. Mm-hmm. That's what I think about with stuff like that. Cause I'm like, maybe it'd be fine to just watch it. And then I'm like, but if it's not fine, I can't unwatch it. Like it's there forever.
And I had to be like, I'm not going to watch whatever is about to happen here.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, this is the explanation. I'm like, I don't need to know. Another time I walked in, it was somebody who needs like their sort of lower back, like sort of reset, but it has to go in through their butthole.
Oh, sure. Why? Yeah.
And, I'm like, what?
Closest way to
like to somehow like reset someone's lower back is to go through their butthole. And I'm like, well, okay, I don't need to watch this either.
Yeah. That would be something if I went to the ER. I mean, I've had my share of urgent care butthole things.
Sure.
But if I had something wrong with my back and they're like, we're going to go in through your butthole, I'd be like, it had better start with, this is going to sound crazy. Mm-hmm. I know this sounds crazy. And like, I've Googled it for you so you can see this is a legitimate thing we're about to do. This is really a thing. Because I would be just so like, that can't be how.
Now, I do think in context of the show, the guy had been in like chronic long-term back pain for a long time.
Sure.
And they're like, we need to go in through your butt. And someone can be like, you know what? Anything, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever it takes.
Yeah. Certain levels or duration of pain. Yeah. I think most people are like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Whatever you need to do.
Whatever you got to do, go for it.
That's really how you get ahead is you just have to be willing to do whatever.
Yeah.
Like say, talk to people on the subway.
Yeah. Okay.
We're trying to segue for the second time.
So we're going to talk about subway takes.
Right. Because I think my plan whenever I come on is I try to make the show more popular.
Okay.
Right. Try to grow its popularity. And the thing to grow popularity is not to do anything original. Not to do anything new.
Right.
Just to copy what someone else has done. And then like ride their fame so you could get a little bit higher.
I see. Like I've seen like, okay, there's like Hot Ones, which we copied.
Mm-hmm.
And then There's like now they have like last meal or something where it's like people do their last meal, but it has a similar vibe. It's like an interview, but it's like all the things they would eat if they were like
Gonna
having
die.
their last meal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I saw one a guy does where he eats people's death row meals, stuff like that. But it's like sort of weird eating competition mixed with interview or
right,
whatever.
It's sort of like you give a hook for the interview to be like, it's not just an interview. It's like you're talking about how you pick this for you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Which always feels weird. Like if you have a celebrity who's promoting like a pretty marginal movie, like imagine you're say, not even The Rock, but you're like the co-star of Jumanji 3.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you're starting to talk about like your last meal.
Yeah.
By the way, go see me in Jumanji 3. And it's sort of like this is how I'm spending my life is like my life is going to be in Jumanji 3.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like too, like with something like that, like yeah, if they were like go be on Hot Ones to promote Jumanji 3, I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna have at least one bowel movement that burns like hellfire.
Right.
I don't think that's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's reasonable to ask me to do that.
Now, one of the interesting things about the show that I'm borrowing from here, Subway Takes,
Mhm.
is apparently the one Subway Take that they have not aired was Kamala Harris's Subway Take.
Mm.
That was so bizarre, they decided just not to air it before the election.
Okay.
They're like, so strange. Like, we couldn't air this because if we did, it would like just sabotage her campaign, I guess, like completely.
Do we know what the take was?
We don't know what it was exactly.
Okay.
And
that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but also like I'm deeply curious about like what this is.
Yeah, what would it have to be? What's really odd about that to me is like if you as Kamala Harris, knowing that you were going to like run for president or like your vice president or whatever,
right.
I would just think that her Subway take would be something that you're like, yeah, okay.
You do something really like, silly.
Yeah.
Or like something simple. Like,
yeah.
We should like let, every cat should let us pet its tummy.
Right. Okay. So I'm not like super familiar with Subway takes, but this is the one where the guy interviews people on the subway.
Mm-hmm.
They clip their little lavalier mics to their MTA card.
Right.
And then, but it's kind of like a hot takes.
Yeah. I think the premise is supposed to be that because it's on a subway, you have to get your take out.
I see. You have a limited time.
You have a limited time. And it usually does have people who are like performers or comedians. Sure. It's often best when they seem to have regular people. And they get into like occasionally, like a personal favorite of mine is where someone's like, we need to talk about dinosaurs more.
Okay. Yeah.
Where like, it's a kind of like everyone on the platform is like, yeah, we should talk about dinosaurs more. Like when the random passengers like, yeah, this is why dinosaurs are this way. Like, what is this dinosaur fact?
Yeah. Okay.
In the way that I had sent around when I had found on the internet, I sent to you the recent Reddit post about like, could long-necked dinosaurs such as Brontosaurus or Brachiosaurus survive a tornado?
Right. Would it be like whipping around
Mm-hmm.
or like, helicoptering its head just like wobbling wildly like one of those inflatable tube bands?
Getting sucked into the tornado is more likely. And all the dinosaur experts are like, well, if it encountered a tornado, the problem is all the debris.
Oh, sure.
Which is like just going to be hitting this dinosaur all the time.
Well, see, that's when like the experts come in and make it not fun.
Mm-hmm.
When they're like, actually, most dinosaurs just look like birds. And you're like, oh, fuck off.
Well, a lot of the other experts said like, well, if you look at something like elephants with large storms, they just kind of hunker down.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'm guessing they probably just hunkered down.
I guess
Or
so.
other people who were like experts to say, well, it depends on the era. Like if it's Pangea, they didn't really have a lot of like hot weather, cold weather colliding. So you just didn't have tornadoes.
They would never. Yeah. Okay.
Sort of like they probably wouldn't encounter a tornado.
I think the only Subway take that I'm very familiar with was, I can't remember. I think it might have been Kate Blanchett and was talking about leaf blowers and that leaf blowers are dumb and that they should be outlawed. And I guess they are outlawed in Washington, D.C. And I completely agreed with it because I feel like, okay, like where I live, we there's an HOA. We have no option to like care for the outer area,
Right.
which is fine. But like when they clean up here, they use leaf blowers, and it's so loud and it's so constant, and it's like my feeling about leaf blowers is like I would rather just have the leaves be there than have the like bother and noise and gas powered leaf blowers and like just blasting dust into the, you know what I mean? Like that seems to me worse than the leaves.
Like I wonder for whom like the leaf blower is superior to the rake.
Yeah.
And that if you have a lot of leaves and you need to gather them up into a place, like the rake is such a simple tool.
Yeah.
Like it's not heavy, really.
Yeah. It's been a little bit of a war because Poonmaster Flex's dad has had a leaf blower on his like wish list the last couple of years. And she refuses to even consider it and has also told her mom not to buy it and has told me like, don't you do it. Because she's very opposed to leaf blowers. Now he wants to use it to like clean out his garage and like his driveway.
So he's using it as like a duster.
As a broom, basically. Yeah.
This is where basically like you could give him the trollish gift of like a good, solid, well-made push broom.
That's what I didn't understand because I was like, I think a broom is probably just as fast, if not faster. And also in a garage, like keeps the dust from flying all the way up in the air.
Yeah, like you're sort of like, pushing the dust out.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It's always you're pushing it forward as opposed to like having it billow in a cloud in front of you.
Yeah.
And then just sort of loop around and come back.
Yeah, and as I was out for my like old man jogging this weekend, there was some guy like leaf blowing his driveway, and I was just like, what is the fucking point of that? Like, how long does it take for that dust to just return to your driveway?
I kind of understand having a leaf blower if you are a commercial landscaper.
Me too.
But that's where it's, again, you're doing when I say commercial landscaper, you're doing something on a commercial scale.
You have a tremendous amount of area to cover, like a huge, more than a yard.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm kind of torn on it, like here, because I'm like, well, what are they going to do? Use like a rake? But I just sometimes wish I wish a landscaping company would be like, look, we charge a little more, but we don't use leaf blowers. We don't use like loud equipment. You know what I mean? We're not here 3 out of 5 days of the week days in the summer.
Like you'd pay $50 a month more if they said like, listen, we only have push mowers. We don't even have regular lawn mowers. Just a little old school, like, is it a blade?
Like the real answer here is like, do we need all these little patches of grass that it's like not even big enough for the riding mower to do a donut on? Because that's basically all it does. They like push it in front of the house, do a 360 and they're done. And it's like, why do we even have this grass? Like, we don't need this.
Where you just like get on the riding mower, you lower the blade, you raise the blade, and then you put the riding mower back on the truck.
Yeah. And it's like, no one is sitting in the grass near our house.
And I would say the one tool that I would always allow that's motorized and somewhat loud is the weed whacker.
Sure.
You're like, because that's like, all right, that's about as small as you. No one has to be like pruning something with scissors.
But again, if you just get rid of the grass,
right,
you don't need it. That's my real. Anyway, that's the only Subway take that I'm very familiar with, and it's mostly because I saw it and then had to show it to Poonmaster Flex because I knew it would set her off about how her dad wants one, and that was amusing to me.
So the general premise of Subway takes is someone gives a take.
Okay.
Right. The host has to say 100% agree or 100% disagree.
Okay.
So like the nice part of the premise of the show is like he's got to take like a firm side. Like
doesn't take a stance.
It doesn't have like well, I see it part way. Like no, you got to take a firm 100% agree, 100% disagree.
Okay.
And then like they kind of explore it afterward.
So in this scenario, am I the host agreeing and disagreeing, or are you the host agreeing, disagreeing?
So I'm going to read, I'll be the one giving the take, and then you're doing 100% agree, 100% disagree.
Okay.
And we have to kind of argue it out.
Okay.
And so I guess my job is to sort of like either support it or argue with you as if I hold this opinion.
Well, hopefully for you, then there's no opinion that's like, that starts with like, as much as I dislike Hitler.
No, nothing quite like that.
Okay.
I mean, I think there's only one that is, there's only one that I would say even describe as vaguely political.
Okay.
And there's some that I've adjusted to make it more local because like a lot of stuff can be very like New York City centric.
Oh, sure.
Like where they have like, and also when I selected from the most popular YouTube shorts.
Mm.
So that, because, if we're going for popularity for Helpful Snowman,
right,
you go with what's popular.
Which we definitely are.
All right. So you just go with popular takes.
Okay.
And so I tried not to go with if it was very New York centric, like one had like Mom Donnie, where it's like, I should be emperor or mayor of New York.
Mm.
I'm like, well, okay, that's not going to apply to Peter.
Yeah.
So I had to massage that one a little bit.
Yeah, because I don't care if Mom Donnie is mayor of New York.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So we'll start with a take here.
Okay.
Vegan food shouldn't cosplay as non-vegan food.
I 100% agree with that.
Okay.
I think the reason I agree with that is not because I find it like, I've never been in a situation. Sometimes I think like people who are carnivore, or omnivore, or whatever, they almost act like they've been fooled by vegan food before, which I don't think has really happened to almost anybody, because, it's not like even like a Beyond Burger or something. It's not like that's cheaper than a beef burger. So it's like no one's going to waste that on you to trick you unless you have like a weird spouse, I guess.
Right.
Who's making dinner and just
like,
wants to make you feel like a fool or something.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I agree with it is because I feel like I've had multiple recent failed attempts to cook tofu.
Okay.
And it just has turned out pretty shitty every time. Up until I haven't used it for quite a long time. And I was like, maybe this would work. So I got it one last time I went to the grocery store, and I was like loading all the groceries in the car, and I dropped the tofu on the ground and it burst open. So there's like tofu juice everywhere and it was ruined. And I was like, you know what? Maybe that's for the best. Maybe it's better that it got ruined this early in the process as opposed to after I had invested a half hour into cooking with it. Anyway, and I think the problem I have with tofu is I'm trying to treat it like it's meat, and it's not meat. Like it doesn't work the way meat works. So you can't like cook it as if you're cooking meat. So I feel like it's like, yeah, maybe vegan food, instead of like, well, this is vegan tacos or this is a vegan BLT or something. It's like, well, just make things that taste good with those ingredients. Like make some new things.
It's kind of like the salad version of veganism where you're like, you know what what do vegetables do great? Like you say, salads.
Yeah.
Right. Be like, make the sort of not trying to make like, how do you make something that's kind of burgery?
Yeah.
Into, with only like plant-based ingredients. You're like, no, just be like, these are plants. These are beans. These are grains. Like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. It's like we need new words for like, okay, I've seen like cauliflower steaks.
Sure.
And I'm like, well, I think calling them cauliflower steaks for me results in disappointment because I'm like, I mean, it's not like eating a steak, which isn't to say it's terrible or that I hate it. It just means like, if I go in expecting this to be a steak adjacent experience, it's really not. And so like we shouldn't, what could we call it?
If you call it like a cauliflower plate or a cauliflower platter,
yeah,
you'd be like, it's totally accurate.
Cauliflower slab. I don't know. Something. There's got to be a way.
Cauliflower.
Yeah. And I understand why it's the way it is. Cause like if I went into a restaurant and it says cauliflower steak, I kind of understand what that is.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, it's one of those things where I'm like, there's got to be a better way, like there's got to be something good you can make with peas where we're not trying to use peas to I don't know, putting them together in the shape of a turkey leg.
Well, it's a thing where you say, like, if you say, hummus is vegan, and you're like, I love hummus.
Yeah.
I don't need to know that it's vegan or not. I'm like, this is awesome. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, I think that's my thing with vegan food, though, is like, it just needs to be, we need to like come up with new vocabulary so that we understand what the fuck it is and that we can't do our old tricks with it. Like, it doesn't work. You can't just take tofu and make it into ground beef.
It's the thing where, like, I've made a vegan shepherd's pie before.
Yeah.
Where, like, I had lentils instead of beef.
Sure.
And I'm like, all right, if you kind of have, like, really soft lentils, it's not going to be that clear that, that it's not ground beef.
Right.
Or ground lamb.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, kind of, that's similar enough.
Right.
But at the same time, I was thinking, like, do I need to make it, like, say that it's vegan, or can I just say, like, this is, like, there's shepherd's pie for lamb, cottage pie for beef.
Right.
What is the version for lentils? Where it doesn't have to be, like, vegan shepherd's pie. It doesn't taste like shepherd's pie. It tastes like its own thing.
Right.
It's not bad, but it's like, what do you call that? Like, garden shepherd's pie.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Or garden pie, where it's like,
yeah,
shepherd's, cottage, garden.
Yeah, right. And then it's like our take on a shepherd's pie, but vegan, and yeah, or like maybe too, I feel like sometimes it feels like, yeah, you make a vegan shepherd's pie at this restaurant, but it's like, I think that presupposes that someone who's vegan is like jonesing for a shepherd's pie. And so this is as close as we can get.
Right.
Whereas I'm like, I don't know, maybe if there were more foods that were like vegan from the ground up or whatever.
It's like where steakhouses have really good salads where they're like, oh, well, we want to make sure anybody who comes in here can have a good experience.
Sure.
They say, like, we'll make a really good salad. Like, we're not going to half-ass it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't, I don't know. Yeah. I think there should be some different words. I feel like new words are needed.
Like, really have their own distinct words for things.
Yeah.
All right. Here's another take. You ready for this one?
Sure.
Androids are better than iPhones because the iPhone is just conspicuous consumption.
100% disagree.
Ooh, okay.
I'll tell you my Android experience because I've had both. And my Android was quite a bit older. But like my experience with the Android was that it's a phone for people who want to spend time fucking around with their phone. Like, I was horrified to find out that like I couldn't just close an app easily. I had to like go into a menu and like force shut down apps. Otherwise they were constantly running. And you had to like, and everyone was like, well, here's what you do. You install this other app that shuts the apps down. And then you can install this other thing that manages the power, and do all this shit. And I'm like, I didn't want to buy a hobby. I just need a thing that people can call and text me on. That's all I fucking want here. So like my Android experience was not good. And like, I'll grant you, okay, I don't understand like the new iPhone comes out and people buy the new iPhone. And that's fucking crazy. I've had iPhones since...
You've had two iPhones basically in your entire life.
I've had two iPhones, period. Yeah, not basically. Legitimately have had two.
You had the iPhone, I think it's like 4, and then you've got whatever you have now.
I had a 4 until 2020 or 2021 because I used part of one of those, the government sent us money things to buy a new phone. And it was because at that point, it was like, I think I had been down to the YouTube app worked, and then mail kind of worked, and
texting did not.
Texting
was
wasn't
unpredictable,
reliable, and the phone worked. And then I think YouTube and mail kind of collapsed around the same time, and I was like, well, okay, that's the end. I can't.
This does nothing now.
Yeah, and like if you can't get calls and texts reliably, it's like, well, this
is no
that's
longer
worse
a
than
phone.
not getting them at all.
Right.
Because you're like, well, maybe I did get one and I didn't know. So I could see what the person's saying, but like, I think there's a way to use iPhone that's not, This one's from fucking 2020, 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I would have kept rocking the 4 until it completely died if that was an option, but it was not.
It was not. And in some ways, like the iPhone feels like it's a middle ground where like the Android is the, do you want to do absolutely nothing with your phone? Do you want the dumbest brick that you can possibly find?
Yeah.
It's going to be it's going to be some form of Android.
Right.
Or do you want to basically hack your phone all the time?
Yes.
It's going to be an Android. But if you want something that's just like, this just kind of works, like don't need to think about it a whole lot, but also like I'm not a complete idiot where I'm like, I can close apps, I can, manage my phone a little bit.
There are things about the iPhone that I hate, right? But like, okay, one time our sister sent me a message that was like a voice note.
Right.
And I was like, started listening to it and it was like 5 minutes long. So I was like, oh, I can't listen to this right now. So I like paused it or whatever. But the way it worked was like, I don't know, 90 seconds after you listen to it, it vanishes forever.
Sure.
And so I was like, God damn it. And so then it's like, oh, well, you can go into your default settings and you can choose how long you want it to stay. And it's like, well, I could have it stay for a minute, 3 minutes, or forever. And I'm like, A, why are those the 3 choices? That is such a vast, ridiculous range between 3 minutes and forever. But also, I'm like, why would the default be like a super short amount of time? That makes no fucking sense. And there's things about the iPhone that are like that I don't understand.
It feels like the voice note thing is like a young person trend chasing sort of thing, like where you want them to be like,
it's like Snapchatting.
Yeah,
or
Snapchat,
whatever.
text messages. People send voice notes, but like they're sending them back and forth and they want them to erase automatically because they take up more data space.
Yeah.
But like, I don't get why the option isn't like 1 minute, 1 day, and then forever.
Yeah, something. Well, and then why is the defaults the short time? You know what I mean? I'm like, make the default a day as opposed to that. But also, I guess, yeah. But I don't want to spend time hacking my phone to make it basically function. If I had a suggestion for Android people, manufacturers, it'd be like, I want a phone where the basics just work. And if you want to make me fuck around, if I want to install a game emulation on my phone and like pair a Bluetooth controller to it, fine. You know what I mean? That's fine.
Those are the people that basically like, they're going to figure out how to do that and you can't stop them. So it's like, let them do it. Don't get into fights with them. Like, let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, it's like, it just works.
Mm-hmm.
And it works for what a phone needs to do. And like, I understand there are things about it that suck, but to me, it's like, I mean, I feel the same way. I have a MacBook that's a 2013 that I've had since like 2015 and it still works, and it just works. So I find the conspicuous consumption, I do think that does happen on the Apple side. But my other thought on that is like, I think Android is not conspicuous consumption, not because it's like a more frugal option. It's just because nobody knows how much that Samsung whatever costs. You know what I mean? Because there's too many fucking different ones. So nobody knows that when this person has their phone out, that's like a $1,200 phone versus this person has their phone out and that's a $300 phone.
If you see someone holding up their phone and you see the little Apple logo on the back, you're probably not able to identify at a glance like, ooh, is that the 16 or the 17?
Yeah. Yeah. And like most people have them in a fucking case. Most people, I don't know. I'm sure there are people who do it that way, but that's a take to me that sounds like a person who feels like personally offended by consumption in a way that I'm like, it's probably not about you.
It reminds me of a way, and this is very old school, but also very New York, of like how Spike Lee was like taking pictures with his iPad, or like when the iPad first came out,
Yeah.
to show like I have an iPad.
Right.
Where like, today that feels like the most granddad looking thing of like, I'm going to take a picture with my iPad, where I also feel like I don't see very many iPads around.
No.
As much as I used
to. I don't notice as many tablets, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seems like everyone gets a tablet and then it becomes the property of their children. That seems to be like the way that works.
I think the tablet more and more, well, the tablet is the thing, like you don't need a keyboard. Like you just don't need a keyboard anymore.
Yeah.
And it's sort of because it's the in-between of the phone, where like sometimes people say like, I'll just use my phone for it.
Right.
The tablet, I feel like, is only still useful if you read a lot of comics, or you want to watch movies on something that's, or you travel a lot and you want to watch movies.
Yeah.
But otherwise.
That's why I have a tablet.
Mm-hmm.
But I have like a cheap Chinese tablet, because it's not, and it's not because I hate the iPad, but it's just because I'm like, I don't need the iPad to do what I do. I'm like, I watch movies, I read comics, period.
You want a slightly larger screen than your phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm like in the rowing machine in the garage and I turn the lights off so that I can just pretend like I'm in a void and maybe sort of pay attention to a movie on a pretty small screen for the 40 minutes that I spend exercising.
You just have like a sort of constant stream of skulls coming at you to keep the void feeling going. Like to be reminded that you're going to die someday. That's why you have to keep rowing.
Yes. Rowing away from my death.
Basically, you are as a river Styx, but somehow instead of the ferryman rowing you, like you're rowing yourself, because that's bullshit.
Yeah, I'm rowing against the river.
If you show up with your 2 copper coins and then he doesn't row you, like, what is he even doing? Why is he even there? It's his boat, I guess, but like...
He owns the boat. He rents you the boat.
He rents you the boat, but I'm like, well, that means why do I want to go to the other side then? Like, why am I paying to die?
It is true. It does seem like a ripoff to pay to die.
I'm just going to go back to the land of the living. That's free.
Yeah.
And I don't have to do any work.
Yeah. I don't have to pay shit to be on that side.
It's like, all right, well, you have to go to your decrepit, broken body, or you can just row a little bit.
I guess it is a very like, someone could definitely put together some kind of like political novel about that, right? Of like, isn't it funny that we have to pay to die now?
All right, I got a short one for you.
Okay.
This might be controversial.
Okay.
Beds are overrated.
I'm going to 100% disagree with that.
Okay.
I guess I'm not sure what the alternative is. Couch futon?
I think like the thing is, well, if you're like, I feel like if you're under 30, futon is like actually a better option than couch.
Sure.
Simply because like if you got a small space, which if you're under 30, you probably live in a small space.
Sure.
You could just be like, I'm near the TV, just flatten it out. Bedtime's right there, so you don't have to go like to a separate room.
Yeah.
Where I do know some folks, friend of the show, Jen. Hi, Jen. Like has that feeling of like, I want to watch TV, but also want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Futon is great for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could also, just get a tablet.
You could also just get a tablet.
And you could do like I have, and you get one of those arms that attaches to the bed frame, the headboard, so that
like you just
like dangling in front of you.
Tablet above your head, like you're at a dentist's office.
Yeah, I imagine I look like that horrible fish with the light in front of its face that lives in the deep part of the ocean, and I've just got an expression like,
I've never seen. I'm evolutionarily unprepared for this.
Yeah, and just I've got an expression of sort of light horror as I'm like, I've only seen this episode of TNG 4 times.
I've seen the first like 20 minutes, like the first 15 minutes of it 4 times.
Yes.
And then the last 10 minutes, like, what?
Yep. But yeah, I don't know that people, I'm trying to like parse how that could even be like beds are overrated. Like, I don't really have people talk to me about beds very often, but I feel like it's like beds as a concept, as a whole. as opposed to something like, I don't know. People are like, if this person was saying like, bed's overrated, like they're like Purple Mattress or Casper or whatever, and it's like, just buy a fucking bed. They're all
basically
comfortable.
the same.
Yeah, they're all the same shit. But I don't know, man. Maybe it's just being middle-aged, but it's like getting in bed's pretty nice.
Like, I try to think of times where like the thing I slept in that was not a bed was somehow better than a bed.
Yeah.
And I try to think that it's pretty limited. Like, hammocks are pretty nice. I'll give hammocks their flowers.
Well, here's the thing. I am a 100% side sleeper.
Yeah. So
I can't do back sleeping.
now I will say that my take for hammocks is that like the hammock is superior for relaxing, not better for sleeping.
Right.
But like for just if I just want to relax and hang out, hammock over bed every time.
I feel like the hammock is a thing you can have, but you'd have to have it in addition to a bed.
Sure.
Like only a maniac would be like, I'll take it instead of a bed.
I think the people who go with the hammock over the bed are usually sailors.
Yeah.
Where it's the like, well, if the ship rolls and then it like sort of pushes me out of the bed and I, fall and break my arm.
Sure.
It's like, okay, that's why you go with the hammock. Because you're like, I'm not going to fall out of it and break my arm.
I mean, I also feel like when I picture that, it's like 50 dudes sleeping in what looks like a giant warehouse room.
Right.
And it's like, I mean, it's all shit.
It's kind of related in the way that I think about like somehow in camping, like sleeping in the sleeping bag, that even when you go in, you're like, oh, I'm so uncomfortable at first, but you wake up and you're like, this is amazing and I never want to leave.
Yeah. Because you're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
There was a night of sleep I had that I remember. It was after, I think you were moving to Arizona for like the first time, and we drove down together, and then like we stayed one night on the way, and ate at a village inn where there were prostitutes, like also eating, not like prostituting, sex workers, I guess we say. And but then we drove like all day, 2 days. And then the second day we got there and we like moved all your stuff in from the truck and everything. And I slept just on the floor of your new place. And I was so fucking dead that it was fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I woke up and my body hurt because I hadn't moved and was sleeping on a hard floor. But I was just like, I guess when you're that tired, like, yeah, you could just whatever. Doesn't matter.
It's all the same.
And that's kind of how I feel camping goes. Because you're just like,
You're just so tired at some point. You're like, I just have to.
Yeah.
Lay my body down.
Yeah.
It's the way I feel like if I slept in basically every airport.
Yeah.
Where like you have to just curl up on a floor somewhere and you're like, what is the cleanest, best space that I have? I'm just going to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be incredibly curious to know what the, beds are overrated. Here's what's better. I remember the author Chuck Klosterman described that for a long time in his 20s, he slept in what he called a nest, which is just like a pile of blankets on the floor with a pillow or whatever. But I mean, I'm like, it's basically a bed. It's like, just a less uniform shape of a bed, but
it's a circular shape as opposed to like a, square shape.
Yeah.
Or rectangle shape.
And the concept is basically the same.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say that there's some like a solid couch can be better than a bad bed. Sure. Like,
I guess, but I just, if we're talking about, this versus that, that feels different to me than saying beds overall are overrated.
Right. Beds. I think beds are probably appropriately rated.
Yeah.
And that like they are exactly as good as they expect to be, but maybe not more.
Yeah, I mean, I think the closest I could get to that one is I feel like everybody probably overrates their individual beds because I feel like most people are like, my bed is so comfortable, you know what I mean? And whatever. And I'm like, well, it's probably not. You're just used to it. You know what I mean? Like that's what you're used to.
It's a thing where because I have a sleep app.
Yeah.
Right. And it sort of tries to rate my sleep quality.
Yeah.
I found that my sleep quality overall is higher in most beds that are not my own.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
And so I wonder if it's that like every other bed is like better than mine. Like maybe my bed just really sucks.
Maybe.
Or if it's something like anytime I'm not home.
Right.
I think it's more like maybe my bed sucks.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's anytime you're not at home, it could just be like, well, if you're not at home, you've probably been traveling or doing stuff, so you're more tired.
More tired. Or on vacation mode, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
and you're relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be interesting to know. But yeah, overall, I can't hang with beds are overrated. I think
I think it's hard to think of the alternatives that are truly better because like hammocks are great, but you have to have your bed on the side.
Yeah.
Camping, it's like, well, you're just super exhausted.
Yeah.
Sleeping on the floor feels like one of those things you have to have done basically your entire life.
Yeah.
Like you can't like switch from a bed to sleeping on the floor.
Right. They're like, oh yeah, and wherever they sleep on like a tatami mat or something, and I'm like, yeah, I mean that'd probably be fine, but I don't think that's gonna work for me at this juncture.
It's the thing where I remember a long time ago, I was in a coffee shop and I ordered an espresso,
Mm.
and the barista's like, "Oh, I want to get into espresso."
Uh-huh.
And I thought, like, well, guess you just kind of get into espresso by just drinking it,
beginning by having one.
right? And I think it was like she had kind of got at the idea, like because she really tended to like the more milky, sweet coffees,
Uh-huh.
and it was like, I want a more pure, quote unquote, experience.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of think like, well, you just have to do it. But I also
Yeah.
think there's a little bit of like, if you're most of you like sometimes with your coffee drinking experience, there can be like you have the super sweet mochas, whatever else, and you kind of like gradually work your way to the
Sure.
black coffee. You don't start off with the blackest, bitterest coffee.
Right.
That if you start off with like the Circle K coffee, you're never gonna like coffee.
Right.
So I think it's similar with a bed where you can't like be like, oh, I really like the soft bed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sleep on the tile.
Right.
Cold tile.
Yeah. No, I don't think that would work. Well, and it's also like for why? You know what I mean? What's the issue? I think my hot take of like common furniture / house stuff would not be the bed. My hot take is dining room is overrated, or
Ooh.
dining space, dining table.
Okay.
I just feel like I would be fine never having a dining room table.
I think I like having a dining room table. Like a dining table, basically.
Uh-huh.
Because it's useful for like if you have meetings or even if you, I think part of it is also thinking about the like, it's the sort of thing that we have as a dispute in our house or a challenge in our house of like, are you entertaining other people versus are you just the two of you?
Right.
Like where you and Poon Master Flex, it's just the two of you most of the time.
Yeah.
So like when you have your current dining room table downstairs,
yep,
my guess is that you're fairly rarely sitting at the dining room table together for almost anything.
We do Saturdays and Sundays because we sit and do the crossword together.
Sure.
But that could be accomplished at any number of seating arrangements.
Mm-hmm.
And we use one corner of the dining room table, whereas the other, I would say 5/6 of the dining room table just has stuff on it.
It's a storage place, like it's a
Yeah.
landing zone for things.
Yep.
Where like we have a dining room table that's really about the similar size, but like different shape. Like we have a much more round one.
Yeah.
And we honestly, I find a lot like it's nice to have a table to sit at.
Sure.
Like where I can sit and, especially like I think if I'm eating messy spaghetti, I'm like, I don't want to be on my couch or be on my other.
Sure.
That's where a table's really good.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I think we use our table for like meetings.
Yeah.
And also if I'm sitting there with the cat.
Yeah.
Where she likes to sit at the table.
Right.
More now.
Yeah, I feel like table for most of us is aspirational furniture.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we have this because,
we think we're going to entertain more than we actually are.
Yeah.
That's, I think, part of like the challenge we were thinking about is like, when you have a house, are you designing the house for you?
Yeah.
Right. Or are you designing the house for the people that you're going to entertain? And you think like, well, if you're entertaining like every every 3 months, every 4 months, it's totally worth it. But if you're entertaining like once or twice a year, or maybe less than that, you're like, I'll just like figure something out like once or twice a year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel very much is like, well, how about we just punt on those days and then not devote all this fucking space to a table that we never use.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
That's way more than bed for me.
Get you another take. All right. So let's go with another one. Actually, this was the most popular take.
Okay.
Number 1. There are too many states in the United States. We need to cut at least 10.
10?
So maybe we can make this as a two-parter. Are there too many states, or are there the right or not too many states?
I mean, 50 is a lot.
Right.
I gotta say, okay, this is forcing me into a logic that I hate because I feel like, mentioning again my like nemesis RFK Jr.
Sure.
Because he's like, oh, I get so many injections, and it's like, yeah, it's not really the number of injections is not a good way to look at health. Like, you know what I mean? Like
right.
The number of vaccinations you get is not a sign that we're not healthy. And so it's like, because I think if I just asked someone out of the blue, I'm like, how many vaccinations do you think a person should get from age 0 to 18? They would probably come up with a number. But then if I was like, what is that based on? Like, it would be based on nothing. It would just be like, I don't know, 25 seems like a lot, And so it does feel like I'm saying, well, 50 feels like a lot. But then I think about like other continents, and it seems like they have fewer countries than we have states in a lot of cases. And so like,
it's the kind of thing like basically if you thought like, all right, you get 2 vaccines a year.
Yeah.
From birth to 18.
Yeah.
You'd wind up with like 32 vaccinations.
Yeah.
Overall. And you're like, not very many.
Right.
But 32 people, if you said like, we need 32 vaccinations before you turn 18, people are like, oh, that's a lot.
Right.
Whereas if you get a COVID shot and a flu shot every year, like.
Right. You're already there.
You're already there.
But then, yeah, so like thinking about, is it too many states? I guess, can I say like, I don't necessarily think it's too many states, but I also don't think it would do us any harm to combine quite a few.
I think that kind of goes into you're just going to go with it seems like we have too many states. Like we could combine some states without hurting very much.
Like if we mashed up Nevada and Utah, would anyone care?
See, I was going to go with Utah and Idaho.
Sure.
Like just kind of mash them together. They kind of touch.
Probably do all 3. The one thing I'm concerned about with Idaho is that seems like that seems to be where you get into militia-y country.
But it's a thing where basically if the administration was in Salt Lake City, they'd have administration that's so far away.
Yeah.
They could still do all their militia stuff because it's like, well, it's just too far.
That's true. Maybe it actually works out better for those nutballs.
Right. Where they could be like, it's just too far away. Who cares?
Is this part of the plan to make this show popular? I'll smack talk like half the states. I mean, okay. Everyone there hates this, but like, I think Washington and Oregon, we could go ahead and combine.
Ooh, okay.
I don't think that's harmful.
It seems like the political opposition is basically like Portland versus the rest of the state, and then like Seattle, Tacoma versus the rest of the state.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like the problem that the rest of the states, both cases have is like, well, all the money and the people are in those 2 cities.
Yeah.
Like, are you opposing all of the money and all of the people?
Well, and I feel like they have a weird thing going where it's like Portland is very proud that it's not Seattle. And like people who live in Portland are like, it's totally different. And people in Seattle are like, it's totally different. And to outsiders, you're like, it's pretty similar. It's not the difference between Las Vegas and, I don't know, somewhere in New Hampshire.
It's not the difference between like Las Vegas and Atlanta.
Yeah. You're like, I think Arizona and New Mexico could go ahead and join forces.
I feel like that's fair.
Yeah.
Like that's tough but fair.
Yeah.
in a way. Like I think we could combine.
I feel like they have a similar vibe to me, which is deserty and like a pretty good place to go if you're like a burned out hippie.
Mm-hmm.
And also if you're a super wealthy conservative person, but who doesn't think they are.
In
maybe?
A lot of ways, Arizona and New Mexico share something in common of like, you want to go to Arizona or Colorado, but you can't afford it.
Yeah.
Like that's where you go, where you're like, can't afford it, couldn't make it there.
Yeah. I don't feel like we lose much in that.
I mean, the obvious answer is you combine the Dakotas.
Yes. Yeah.
You're like, there's just one Dakota.
That's a pretty gimme. Yeah.
You don't need two of them. Like, you're good there. Also go farther and say that maybe you combine like, Iowa and Missouri.
Yeah, or maybe Iowa and Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Missouri, and people there would hate this, but Missouri and Kansas, they already fucking share Kansas City. So they might as well.
When one of your largest cities in both of your states is like kind of like you have to split your largest city like it's Berlin.
Yeah.
Like it's not Berlin, where it's not as if you hate each other so much.
Yeah.
Like you could just be like, let's just combine together. Share our largest city.
Yeah. I mean, Oklahoma can just combine with fucking whatever, because whatever. I don't care about that at all.
I think it's like Oklahoma doesn't want to combine with Texas. That would be admitting defeat. Doesn't want to combine with Nebraska.
I feel like Texas just needs to stay as is because it's too big.
It's already too big.
Yeah, and also I don't think anyone particularly wants to combine with Texas. And I don't think Texas wants anyone.
Right.
So we should just leave it. Okay, here's a hot take. Let's just combine Alaska and Hawaii.
Ooh, I'm gonna go
one
pee.
State.
I'm gonna go pee while you explain this one to the viewers.
I mean, basically, it's because they're the two states that are like completely disconnected from everything. So like, I don't see any you know what I mean? Like those are the two states that if people are like, it makes no sense that those are part of the 50. Those are the two that we're going to be talking about. So like, we might as well just get rid of them or combine them together. I mean, and then they can be the two states that everyone who lives in them is mad about, like being part of the United States and or being combined. And it's like, well, we can just deal with everyone who's mad about that in one thing. And like, let's just be clear. I'm not saying like they have to have like a monoculture or something. They don't have to have a new state identity or whatever. It's like, no, they could just continue on as they have been. They just have one name for the state now. I just feel like that makes complete sense. I mean, in my mind too, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit on the East Coast. As far as like Vermont, New Hampshire, it's like, yeah, go ahead and fucking throw those together. North and South Carolina, go ahead and throw those together. Like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, you know what the big thing that does make
West Virginia and Virginia need to combine again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the more I think about and talk about this, the more I do think like, okay, maybe we have too many states in terms of a number, but they're so fucking big, and like making them bigger, I don't know if that makes sense. Like they're huge. It's like people don't realize. It's always funny. You'll see on Reddit like somebody talking about like they came to the States and they're like, I did not realize. I saw the classic one I saw. It was like someone saying they were taking a road trip from like Chicago to Florida. And they were like, is there somewhere good to stop for lunch on the way? And you're like, dude, like that's.
I mean, like, yes, I suppose you're going to be out for quite a bit.
Yeah. How long are you thinking a day is? Like, and how you should really put this into Google Maps. Like,
it's a surprising number of Redditors who have not like done any type of Googling or any type of trip planning.
Yeah.
Across the United States, which I see the version of that when people go to Europe a lot and like Europeans make fun of them like, oh, you Americans don't understand something.
Yeah.
How stupid all of you are. And I'm like, no, there's a lot of Europeans who do the same thing.
Right.
The sort of like classic version where I was at a bar and someone's like, oh yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to drive to Las Vegas and Los Angeles tomorrow. And I'm like, are you going to drive through them or are you going to like stop by? Like, what is your plan here?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I think they just, I don't know. They're like, oh, it's an adjacent state. So that's like driving to an adjacent country in the UK or something. And it's like, no, it's not a half day journey.
Like when I watch the Top Gear specials about how they're driving through like multiple countries in one day.
Yeah.
I'm like, that seems insane to me, where I'm like, what?
Yeah. Well, yeah, when they did the one where they came to the States, I think they drove from Florida through Georgia into somewhere. I don't know.
I think Louisiana, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
yeah. Because
like
they went to New
Florida,
Orleans.
Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana sort of thing. It's like.
And that was like a multi-day trip.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
that was like basically like the driving across Botswana or.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I could see combining the states and a cheer would go up from like elementary school classrooms.
Right.
They'd have to learn fewer states, but they're just so goddamn big. I don't know how that works.
I feel like maybe what if you had something like Hawaii and Puerto Rico were combined into one state, and then like Alaska has to combine with like Florida.
I mean, it would be funny because like when I thought of Alaska, Hawaii, it kind of opened up the like, well, the states don't necessarily have to be like contiguous, right? Like you could combine states based on
Michigan is not contiguous.
Yeah, you could combine states based on vibes instead of right. Like if it's like, I don't know what state is Colorado and Oregon seem similar. So it's like, yeah, they could just be one state.
Colorado. Well, it's really Colorado and Washington are probably similar. But I get what you're getting at. Where you'd be like, we vibe, we work out together.
Or like everyone's probably like California and New York should combine. And I'm like, yeah, fine. That would be fine.
They would hate it, but they're like, no, you're combined.
I mean, it is 2026. Like we have the technology. It's not like they'd have to put messages on a buggy back and forth.
All right. I've got another one for you.
Okay.
Short version here. Everybody is disabled.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think everybody has something that would qualify as a disability of some kind. Like, we probably have to different degrees. But I think if it's a yes/no binary choice, I would say yes over no.
It's the kind of like some people's disabilities are not really impeding their function.
Sure.
In the rest of the world or their day-to-day life very much.
Yeah. Yeah, or like I think even if you're not like, I don't know, traditionally disabled, like let's say if you're getting over the flu, you're like temporarily disabled. You should be able to get like a handicap sticker.
What do you think is the thing that is like where's the sweet spot between like the most debilitating but also not, obviously a disability? Like the thing that's like right bumping up the line where you couldn't get the handicap sticker, but you're like right there. You're close to it.
So like what's basically the worst?
Yeah, like, kind of like you've had an experience of food poisoning, right?
Right.
We're like food poisoning, you feel like you should be able to get the handicap sticker for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Like if you're going through food poisoning, or like I had food poisoning yesterday. Can I have the handicap parking sticker for a day?
Yeah. What would be something that would be right on the line? Well, having experienced hemorrhoids, I feel like that should be more seen as more debilitating than it is. Also, I just think it's like it kind of ruins a lot of things, so it should just be something that we're like, I mean, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like just give them it's sort of like if I saw
do over on more stuff.
Yeah. It's like, I understand the handicap sticker is for people who would have a more difficult time getting into a place. But like, if I saw someone jump out of their car and they had Down syndrome, but otherwise seemed physically totally fine, and they had a handicap sticker, I'm not going to argue with that.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know. That seems cosmically fair. Like,
in terms of the fairness of the universe, the fact that they get to be right up front is like, I, I'm not mad about that.
Yeah, no, I can't be angry at that. And also, I'm like, that seems fair to me. That just seems cosmically.
I disagree with this, but I don't think it's unfair.
Yeah, it's I guess also there's that element of like, I mean, this is so far from the hill I'm gonna die on.
Right.
Of like, I'm gonna fight so that we don't have this problem anymore. That this plaguing the land.
Mm-hmm. I feel like though, if you're, the thing is, if you were if you had a car and you had like a person with Down syndrome in your car, you use the handicap spot, and then you saw somebody like wheelchairing up from the back of the parking lot,
Yeah,
I think then you'd feel bad. You'd be like, ooh, yeah,
yeah.
I probably shouldn't have done
I just think I would wonder. There was a guy who used to come into my old work who drove, and he definitely had some kind of developmental disabilities. And I'd see him drive. One time I saw him just rip through the drive up book drop lane way too fast, going the wrong direction. And I remember being angry about it because he had a nicer, newer car than I did. And I was like, how is that possible?
So I want to pause on this for a second.
Okay.
In my library system, which, has its good points, but I want to highlight its bad points.
Okay.
It is nearly impossible for me to get my books into the book drop from a car because it's like set so high up, like for the SUV or truck.
Same.
So I feel like if I had to like go the wrong way and then climb over the passenger seat to get into it, I would recognize something was wrong.
Well, he wasn't returning anything. I don't know what he was doing. He just came peeling through it very quickly. I saw it was him and then was mad because he had a nicer, newer car. But he did not stop or slow down to use the book drop.
He just was like doing donuts through your...
I don't know. I don't know if this was like he was tooling around or if he became confused about the layout of the parking lot. I don't know what happened. All I know is that he was going far too fast. And I don't know if he had a sticker or not. That part I don't know. But if I found out he had one, I wouldn't be mad about it.
Now, I feel like a library book drop is the kind of place where you shouldn't have to set a speed limit. Yeah. You shouldn't be like, this is too fast for you going through the book drop. Because like the book drop is intended for you to like come to a complete stop, drop off your books, and then go. Because I don't know somebody who's skilled enough to like roll through, drop off their books, and then keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it was a not bad piece of driving in terms of just car handling ability.
Right.
But it was a horrendous piece of driving in terms of you should not be doing that.
It is a high skill, low judgment maneuver. Like you executed this just fine.
Yeah.
But you should not have done it.
Yeah, you should never have been in the position to even have to find out whether or not that was reasonable.
Right. Like it's obviously unreasonable. You managed to do it, but
yeah,
just barely.
I think probably everyone has at least some kind of disability in terms of like, I don't know, ADHD or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like anxiety, stuff like that. I guess maybe there's somebody out there who I feel like in order to disagree with that, I would have to be like, I'm perfect. So no,
I have no, I am perfect in every way.
Yeah. And I've yet to meet a person who I would say thinks of themselves that way.
I hit the sort of typical mark every single time.
Yeah.
I'm the most average person.
Well, and then if a person actually thought like, well, I'm totally fine or whatever, I'd be like, that person's more fucked up than anyone.
Right. They're in some kind of crazy denial or they're insane.
Yeah. They have no self-perception ability. Mm-hmm. Like they're completely unable to evaluate their own.
They're like, who is it? Mark Andreessen, where he said like he has no self-reflection.
Yes, right.
I think you might have seen that where it's like, I believe Mark Andreessen has no self-reflection.
I do. But I don't believe that means it's not a thing.
It's not a thing. It's like, I believe you don't. But
right. I think you not having it is basically why this discussion is happening.
Right. It's yeah, that says more about you than it does about people. All right.
Am I out of touch? No. It's everyone else who's out of touch.
Everyone else who is out of touch.
Yeah.
Everyone who doesn't have $1 billion is out of touch.
Yeah.
All right. So this is one I had to modify a little bit.
Okay.
So we'll go with this one. Everyone in Boulder, Colorado has rich parents or is doing something illegal.
I would 100% disagree.
Okay.
Because I think the modification that I would require is everyone in Boulder, Colorado has rich parents, period. Or is doing something illegal. I don't even think that's real. Like, I think in order to live in Boulder, Colorado and deal mushrooms, you probably have to have parental money to have like gotten set up.
Okay.
Because otherwise you'd be in Longmont or Berthoud.
So you're going even further than the original take was basically everyone in New York City either has rich parents or is a drug dealer.
Oh, okay.
So I had to like modify this to be
I see.
More helpful Snowman centered.
I feel like, yeah, New York City, I could kind of see that more.
Mm-hmm.
But Boulder, yeah, it's so unaffordable.
Like Boulder's at a point where like you could still do something, you could be doing something illegal, but you still need enough parental money to like,
yeah, get your mushroom business started. Like,
I feel like you could do that without the drug dealing part and without the parental money if you were doing a simply massive amount of real estate fraud.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, you're sort of in the way that I think Twitter had a Boulder office.
Yeah.
And that I think they got evicted from it because they just decided not to pay their rent anymore.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like I have kind of a hatred for Boulder because I feel like it's got this reputation of being like a fun hippie city. But then like you go there and it's like the driving is like Mad Max hell out there. And like, it's like, it feels like to me, the quintessential Boulder experience is that you're like, you come to a 4-way stop and accidentally go before you're supposed to. And some burned out hippie in a Prius fucking screams at you and calls you the bad F slur for gay. And like that feels like that's what I experience Boulder as, or like, I don't know, that's what it feels like to me. I guess if you count people who don't own or rent a home in Boulder, I suppose there are those who exist in Boulder that way, but
like you are a tourist or a college student.
Well, I'm thinking of homeless people.
Oh, like I feel like though, from the outside, it seems like if you're going to be homeless, like Boulder would be like among the worst places in Colorado.
Yeah,
it's gonna be cold.
Yeah.
Everyone around is super wealthy, but like you're not gonna get very much because there's not like shelters or resources or things like that.
Yeah, I feel like in Boulder is the kind of place where they'd be like, well, one of these days I'm going to buy a bunch of McDonald's gift cards to give out to the homeless people.
Right.
Because I don't want to give them money because they'll use it for drugs. But also I'm never actually going to do that.
You're going to get a bunch of cards. You're going to get a bunch of cards with QR codes for someone's nonprofit that then you could use to maybe get assistance.
Yeah, something like that. Some stupid shit.
But even the QR code just always takes you to the donation page and not to the like, how do I get the money page?
Yeah. I guess I feel like in order to live in Boulder, you necessarily have to be out of touch with reality. Like, it's like, how could you? I don't get it. I don't know how anyone affords those houses. I don't know what kind of jobs people have. I don't understand.
The historian of Boulder has to be at the point where, like you said, you had to be out of touch with reality because you were on too many drugs was one point.
Yeah.
And then it shifted to you have so much money.
Yeah.
That it's not ever, there was never a time where you're like, oh, I'm in touch with reality and I live in Boulder. Like something has to shift over time.
Yeah. I think to make it seem reasonable to live there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe that should be the edit. Is it's like, in order to live in Boulder, Colorado, you have to be out of touch with reality.
Yes.
One way or another, either because you're fucked up on drugs, or
you're fucked up on having parental money.
Yeah.
Like you're distorted because of substances, or you're just distorted from birth.
Yeah, or there's like, I don't know, 10 dudes who live there who work for Boeing and make bombs and shit, and it's like, okay.
It's a kind of like moral disturbance of like, I do feel like if you were making bombs for Boeing, you should be able to live in your own house.
I mean,
there's a hot take right there.
I guess. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like if you're going to sell out, you got to like actually.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's this sort of like, you got to cash in rather than sell out.
You're saying like, look, if I'm going to be making things that explode to kill people, you're going to have to pay me a lot.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you should have to live in your own. You should have 4 walls that are completely your own.
Yeah. Yeah, I think having a, house that doesn't share walls with a neighbor, if you build things that have killed thousands of people.
Right. If you have roommates and you build bombs.
Yeah.
It's either that you are a terrorist cell or you have made a lot of mistakes.
Talking about a very different kind of bomb.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, if you have roommates and you're making bombs, those are more classified as IEDs than military weapons.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
That's the true hot take.
Yeah.
Probably get demonetized in the YouTube version. But
I wonder which this person, so it was like to live in New York City, you'd have to do one or the other. I wonder which they were.
Mm.
They were a criminal or a parental money person.
I think they were mostly complaining about the idea of like, you say you're a starving artist and you're living in Bushwick. It's like, no, you have to have money to live in. Like,
right.
It's kind of that getting at the idea of when you're kind of the way I describe, think about it, it's like you're sort of college student broke versus like in poverty.
Right.
Like college student broke is like, oh, how do I scrape money together for beer and pizza?
Right.
Versus like actual broke is like, how do I do the math to make sure that I have enough money at the grocery store.
Right.
And to get, gas in my car.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know the economics of. I wish I was that kind of out of touch.
All right, here's we got our second to last one.
Okay.
All right. Peter would make a good emperor of Weld County. I'd have modify this one from Mom Donnie's. I'd make a good mayor of New York City.
I would make a good emperor of Weld County.
Mm-hmm. He's thinking about it.
I'm going to say I agree.
All right.
And the reason I'm going to say I would agree is because I think I would mostly do things that were to everyone's benefit. And maybe in some way, I feel that the only way to get that done is by decree that people have to follow as opposed to convincing. Because I feel like people here often vote and act in against their own best interests. So, I mean, here's the thing. I think I would be good. And I think my legacy would ultimately prove to be good. I think everyone would fucking hate it at the time. But there would be some petty things I would do that would also perhaps tarnish my legacy.
What are the petty things you would do that would tarnish your legacy?
I would make it illegal to modify the exhaust on your vehicle in any way.
Can you modify your exhaust in a way that makes it less polluting? Like, in other words, if you wanted to turn your car into the thing that like runs on French fry oil, like that's what I'm getting at. That would
Nope. I'm just going to say no because no one's doing that here. Or like the one guy who's doing that, I would just be like, we're not going to catch you anyway. I'm mostly talking about noise and unburnt fuel shooting out the back. So there would be a visual or auditory clue that was happening. So if someone modified their exhaust in a way that made no noise and ran cleaner or whatever, we would never know.
The people with the unburnt fuel, like that's your track day car. Where you say like, you know what? Go out to the track.
Not in Weld County.
Mm-hmm.
Go somewhere else.
It's not even in Weld County. Like, even you would regulate the tracks too, to be like, if it's a racing track and you've got unburnt fuel, can't have it.
Yep. I would probably.
Then again, if you're at track and you've got unburnt fuel, like, no, you don't be on the track with that. Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah, it would definitely, and I know that would be big. I think also, it would be illegal to raise the height of your vehicle.
Ooh, okay.
And it would be illegal to sell even the stock vehicles here, where if they were at a height that the bumper would strike a pedestrian in the chest, that's illegal to sell here and illegal to drive.
Mm-hmm.
These are like mostly road annoyance / pedestrian safety things that I just think are really stupid that we don't do now. I'm trying to think of some of the other petty ones. I mean, I would probably say boats, ATVs, and jet skis cannot be operated anywhere within the county boundary. Unless they're being operated by, say, emergency services or something like that.
You have to have some type of scientific or governmental purpose.
Why? I'm an emperor. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like, it's like basically like if someone's going out to, a lake and they're doing, they're trying to gather water samples.
Sure. Yes.
Like you can have the boat for that. To
yes.
Be like, you don't have to swim out to do that.
It's like, for me, that stuff, it's like the cops can speed, right? Mm-hmm. If they're trying to get somewhere quick, they can, and they're on a county road, they could speed.
You have a specific permitting process for like scientific research or,
yep.
Someone threw a body in the lake and someone
yes.
needs to go find the body in the lake. You don't have to be like, yeah, okay, you can go out to the lake.
Yep. Then that's fine.
And look for bodies.
But the rest of that shit, no thanks.
Do stand-up paddleboards count as boats?
They don't, although I am tempted to make those.
I feel like if it's person powered, you can allow it. Be like, you know what? If you can get out there under your own power. Like I was at Sanborn Park yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, where they had like a bunch of signs of like, oh, for safety, stay out of the water.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? You want to launch a kayak?
Yeah.
Or like a stand-up paddleboard? You're on your own. But like.
That doesn't bother me because I can't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't.
It's not motorized.
Yeah.
Like basically what you're getting at is like, if it's not motorized, like do what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if somebody wants to fucking stand up paddleboard or they want a canoe out to the middle of a lake, that's fine. I don't care. That's
basically like, that's sort of the inverse of your sort of like, no more jet skis or boats or things that are motorized. But if it's not motorized, it's a body of water, you can have it.
It's about things bothering other people instead of, if you're canoeing out on the lake, I don't care if you want to canoe out on the lake at 2 a.m. You know what I mean? That's fine. If you want to canoe out to the center of the lake and get stoned and wasted and like pee off the side of the boat, that's fine.
If you want to go into the middle of Bittersweet Lake with your stand-up paddleboard, light a joint up, just smoke it out there.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Absolutely.
You've managed to accomplish this.
I would decree that it's illegal to mock millennials for wearing no-show socks.
Ooh, okay. Have you been mocked about this
Punishable
recently?
by 30 days in jail.
Is this something you've been attacked for recently, or is this just like a general?
No, I think it's more of a general vibe that's in the world that I just want to put a stop to. Just want to be like, you're safe here to wear whatever length of socks.
You're making Weld County a millennial safe space, which you're trying to get at is to be like, you're safe here.
This is kind of going to become a millennial sanctuary county.
A sanctuary county for millennials.
Yeah.
To be like, you'd have the signs of like, Black Lives Matter, all sock sizes are welcome.
Yeah. Yep. In this house, we believe all socks are the right length.
Sock length is contextual.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I think I could be a fair and just emperor of a county, provided if I didn't have to do shit like manage water rights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the problem with being an emperor in a modern city or county or whatever is that you can't really do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you can't really control everything. But also like if I was doing everything, I wouldn't get anything done because I would just basically, the sewer people come in and they're like, so should we just keep doing the same sewer stuff? And I'm like, yep, because I don't fucking know.
Right.
I don't have ideas for how to improve the sewer.
Or someone's like, hey, we want to do like a new sewer pipe. Sounds good. I like sewers.
Yeah. You know what? One thing I would do that I feel like would be good is, okay, I was writing a newsletter about signage in the library and how I think there's a lot of dumb signage in libraries. And a lot of libraries have signs on their front doors that say no smoking. And I'm like, I mean, there hasn't been smoking allowed here for over 20 years in anything indoors. Not even bars, you can't have like a smoking shop where people can smoke. I think you could do like hookah or something.
When you go to the dispensary and you can't smoke outside of the dispensary.
Yeah. Or like, I don't know if there's probably some way you can have like a cigar.
Or like, yeah,
club.
even when you have the cigar space, like where you buy cigarettes or cigars, but like you can't smoke in here.
Yeah, I think you can. Anyway, my point is, I'm like, do libraries really need to have these fucking signs that say no smoking in the library? Is anyone surprised that you can't smoke? But then I found out that in some places, when the smoking bans were enacted, it was put into law that you have to have a thing on the door that says no smoking, which is, I'm like, I get it at the time this was enacted because it was new. But also I was like, you couldn't fucking smoke in the library before that. You know what I mean? Like, probably the days of smoking in the library ended sometime in the mid 80s.
See, this is where I'm going to press on something a little bit because I got exposed to something through social media.
Okay.
So grain of salt there, but there are a lot of people. There was a guy who was caught vaping in the airplane bathroom where I partially agree with you in that like the airplane bathroom is like where they tell you like you cannot smoke at all, like multiple times. It's
right.
They tell you when you buy your ticket.
Right.
They tell you before you get on the plane. They have a special announcement on the plane.
Yes.
It's in the little information card in front of you, and also like there's a no smoking light.
Right.
That's on all the time.
On every row of seats.
On every row of seats. When you go into the bathroom, it tells you specifically that you cannot smoke or vape.
Yeah.
And there was a guy who was caught vaping in the airplane bathroom.
Right.
Having his crash out on social media.
Right.
Where he's like, I'm autistic and I didn't understand.
No, that's bullshit.
And where I'm like, there's a bit of like everyone is disabled. I'm like, well, I think you're disabled, but not autistic.
Also,
your disability is an unwillingness to follow any type of direction.
I think the hard time I have with believing that. Number one, how could you possibly navigate like buying a plane ticket, getting through the airport, going through security, getting to the gate, doing all that stuff? And you're like, but I cannot, I have no ability to understand basic things.
Right.
But number two, I'm like, well, why were you doing it in the bathroom then? If you thought you could just fucking vape on the plane, why did you go to the bathroom to do it?
Like
Wouldn't you just do it in your seat?
Vape in your seat.
Yeah. And so that seems like complete horseshit to me.
Right.
And yeah.
You're socially aware enough to be like, I can't just vape where I am.
Yeah.
I think it's like, someone described, I think it was at a reading event that maybe you attended. Where there was like somebody in the front row. Who was eating some ramen noodles.
Yeah, she was eating a full dinner. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was like maybe like a noodle bowl or something. Yeah.
They had noodles. And what she was doing was kind of doing what was described to me as the small child or very high person, like taking the noodles and reaching them above her head.
Right.
And then like lowering them down into her mouth.
Yes.
This was at a public lecture. This is at a reading event, but it's also at a public event, the kind of thing that you wouldn't do if you were in a restaurant.
Probably not. Yeah, I mean, the big debate with this person was we were like, yeah, super stoned or maybe on the spectrum.
Right.
And like, but here's the thing, right? It's not specifically forbidden to like, you can eat at this thing. They have like cookies and brownies.
Mm-hmm.
And so to someone who maybe doesn't pick up on cues very well, maybe I can understand not knowing the difference between eating
noodles
a
versus
brownie
cookies
versus like a full spread, a Thanksgiving spread.
Mm-hmm.
Because to them, to some person, that might seem like this is the same thing. I'm consuming food. But if that person had started vaping, I think it would have been totally warranted to be asked to leave.
Be like,
you know what I mean?
You gotta go.
Yeah.
Like, you
can't vape in here.
You're not in any type of gray area. You are in the red zone.
Yes. Yeah, and it's like even if they have an excuse for it, that's the other thing. I'm like, even if that person is autistic and is like, I didn't know, it's like, well, even if that is the case, it wasn't unfair of them to ask you to leave the flight. You know what I mean? To be like, sorry, come back tomorrow, try again. You know, like, yeah, I'm not into that.
That person got in a bunch of trouble and basically had the problem of having their crash out on social media, admitting to all the stuff they were doing.
Right.
Be like, no. And people were trying to tell this person on social media to be like, don't be talking about all the illegal stuff that you're doing online.
Right. Right. It's like, well, if I can go back through your timeline and see that you're constantly on fuck around, find out kind of trajectory, it's like, well, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Let's see. We'll go with the, I think this is the last one that I have.
Okay.
All right. Potlucks are terrible. Invite people over and feed them or don't.
100% agree. 100% agree.
Okay.
I fucking hate potluck. I hate the concept. I hate that, like, everything about it. Okay. If you have a potluck, well, okay. First of all, most of my potluck experiences are work related.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think there are ways to do a work style potluck, but I think what you have to do is a limited scope. For example, I think a couple times at my work, we did like nacho party.
Okay.
So it's like everyone is bringing chips and nacho adornments. So it's like a limited thing.
It's got a theme.
Yeah.
And so like when you're in the theme.
So no one's bringing roast beef.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Nobody is bringing a cookie platter.
Carne asada you could bring because it could go on a nacho.
Yeah. And the other thing is like, because it's, you know, it's like, it's a food, like nachos are a food that I adore.
Sure.
And it's a shit food, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's the kind of food where there's not, for me, an incredible cachet if someone brought carne asada that is not achieved by the person who brings the can of plastic liquid cheese.
Sure.
I'm like, they both have their place.
They both have
this.
their place. Yeah.
And it's the thing where it's like, oh yeah, you could just bring sliced jalapenos in a jar. And that's like, great. You know what I mean? But a general potluck, because my feeling on potluck has always been the same, which is like, do you know how I prefer to have a lunch? I prefer to just make or acquire the food that I want to eat, not like roll the dice. So it's like, okay, I'm going to bring something that I like to eat and that I care about, but then somebody else, and there's always the problem, right? There's always some motherfucker who it's like, they bring the store brand cookies in the plastic clamshell, and it's like that was the extent of their participation in the potluck. And you're like, fuck off with that shit.
It's a thing where basically like, oh, I was thinking about that because I went to my work had a sort of cookie party
at
the end of the semester. And I was one of two people who had brought anything they had made themselves.
Yeah.
And everyone else had brought like the clamshell of cookies.
Right.
Where I'm like, I don't need to come to a special event like to get the grocery store cookies.
Well, and that's the thing, right? I'm not shitting on grocery store cookies.
I'm
as a
shitting on
whole.
grocery store cookies.
Well, here's the thing. I think a grocery store clamshell of cookies is a nice thing to just bring into the office on a Tuesday.
Right.
And you're just like,
it is the like, I just got to bring in something. Here it is.
Well, I just wanted to do it.
Right.
But to bring in for like a cookie exchange, what's the point of the cookie exchange? The point of a cookie exchange is that you would make 24 cookies and exchange them with 24 other people. So you'd have 24 different cookies. But if everyone's just bringing in store-bought cookies, it's like, well, I could have just done this myself. You know what I mean?
I didn't need to come to this event to get like,
no.
What is the clamshell at the grocery store? Like for Colorado listeners, what is the clamshell at King Soopers that I didn't get?
Right. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, here's chocolate chip. Here's like the pink cookie.
Here's the red velvet cookie for some reason.
Yeah, they decided to jump on that trend like 15 years too late.
Mm-hmm.
And then have just been like, I bet it's coming back around. So let's stick with it. Yeah.
Like, I feel like good potlucks I've been to in recent years are the kinds of potlucks where the host has like made a lot of bases together to be like, there's going to be some type of like stew, some type of dessert, some type of like vegetable thing. So that way, when inevitably people show up to the potluck with like garbage,
yeah,
it's still kind of able to assemble it.
But then it's like, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
I think a potluck only works if it's like everyone is bringing chips. Everyone is bringing
it's kind of like you don't need a
candy.
Like a potluck, you're better off bringing like, here's the spreadsheet, right? Put your name in the spreadsheet of what you're bringing.
Yeah, and then but that too, like even that kind of thing, like even in a situation that's good-ish,
right?
You know, like look, I share an office with a lot of people and I see what people eat for lunch and I'm like, that does not look appetizing to me. I don't want that. You know what I mean? I have no interest in eating that. And like, yeah, I remember one time there was like a potluck kind of event and what I brought was dried squid. Cause I was just like, I think I was trying to sort of tear down the potluck from the inside.
You were trying to like, in many ways, it was the fuck you to this concept.
Yes.
Be like, I'm going to bring something that is both high effort.
Yeah.
But no one is going to eat.
And like a bunch of my coworkers were real mad about it because it smelled horrendous. Yeah. You know, and it was like dried pickled squid. And like, I think one person tried it and was like, it's, you know, it's fine.
It's exactly what it smells like.
Yeah. You know, it's the equivalent of bringing beef jerky, I guess, but
dank.
Yeah. Something that certainly American palates are not accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was mad about it. And I was like, well, what's the point of a potluck if we're all just bringing shit that we all eat all the time? You know, and I'm like, why are we doing this?
This is called a potluck, not a pot guarantee.
Yeah. I mean, maybe potlucks, I'm trying to think like maybe it made more sense back in like the 60s, right? And it's like, well, look, back in the day, gender roles, all that. But like usually there was a person who spent a lot of time at home cooking and like most meals were home cooked meals. And like, so when you got a potluck together, it was a bunch of people who do cook regularly putting a meal together. But like, yeah, I don't want to eat someone else's shitty food. Or you know what would work to me as a potluck? If you did like, we're doing a frozen pizza potluck. Everyone's going to bring a different frozen pizza, you know, or like we're doing a pizza potluck and everyone's going to order pizza from somewhere. And, you know, we're just going to.
You're just like, it's the pizza potluck. How you interpret pizza, figure it out.
Right. We're doing a donut and coffee potluck. And it's like, you can get donuts from anywhere.
Like you can make your donuts, you can acquire donuts, you can make your coffee, you can acquire coffee.
Yep.
Figure it out, but you have to come with donuts and coffee.
Yeah, but it's like we keep the expectations contained and not high.
Right.
Cause yeah, I just hate it. And then the other fucking thing about the potluck that drives me crazy, whenever we did it, it was like, 90% of people, I'm like, so have you never like washed dishes? Because it's like there'd just be a bunch of silverware in the sink. And I'm like, where do you think you are? Like, I remember I was saying if I became library manager, which I guess is as close as I would even possibly come to emperor of a county.
Right.
I was like, I think I would just solve all of our office conflicts by filling in the entire kitchen in the break room with cement. Like, I would just turn it into a big cement block and just be like, it's gone. We've proven we cannot handle it. It's gone.
I felt like there's a version of that I felt when I had the graduate student lounge.
Yeah.
Where I thought like I would change the plumbing instead of having a regular like kitchen sink.
Mm-hmm.
You have a bathroom sink.
Mm.
Like it's enough where you could like wash your hands.
Yeah.
But not enough where you could wash a dish.
Yeah.
Like I say, you just got to take your dishes home.
Ugh.
Figure it out.
Ugh. That's one of my least favorites is like when sometimes people will put a dish. Okay. They'll bring a Tupperware. They'll eat the food out of it. And then they put it back in the refrigerator because maybe it's not totally empty or because they don't want to wash it and they're going to take it home. Inevitably, that Tupperware just sits in the refrigerator for like 2 weeks and becomes rotten. And then they're mad at you for throwing it out because they're like, that was perfectly good. You could have just washed it. And I'm like, fuck you. You could have just washed it.
Someone could have washed it.
Yeah.
Someone did not.
Yeah.
I threw it out.
Yeah. I was very militant about when it was my turn to clean the fridge at work. I didn't fuck around. I threw out someone's leftovers one time because they didn't put their initials on them. And they were like, well, they were fresh that day. And I was like, how am I supposed to know that? I don't monitor what's in there. I'm coming to it. Just imagine I'm coming to it as like, Big Lebowski style. Like you're like a child who walks in on the middle of a movie and has no idea what's going on.
We used to have in that same grad office a permanent marker attached to a rope.
Yeah.
So that way it was like there's always something you can use to mark your leftover.
Yeah. We worked in a goddamn library. There's pens and markers everywhere. Everywhere.
The fact that you're not carrying a pen on you right now is suspicious.
Yeah.
Like the failure.
Yeah. There was another time there was an IT guy who worked there who got real mad at me because he had frozen bagels and he was like, those were brand new. I had just bought them. They were like fresh bagels from wherever. And I threw them all out. And I was like, yeah, there was no date or initials on them. And I was like, I don't know how long. I don't use the freezer at work because I'm not long-term storaging food at work. That's a crazy thing to do. I'm like, the freezer at a library, like in the office area, should probably just have like a box of popsicles in it during summer reading that you're planning to use for an event.
What you have, first of all, it feels weird to have a freezer at work.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Second thing is like freezers are for things you're using that day. Like I got to keep ice cream cold for today.
Yes.
Or like, honestly, the other thing is like for ice packs.
Yeah.
That's really what it's for at work is like, do you need an ice pack for something?
That's what ends up in there. That's all that's like, that should be in there. But there's always stuff in there. But yeah, it was like, oh, anyway. But yeah, potluck is just like, to me, the worst. Instead of doing a potluck, I think the better option is either A, yeah, you just make the food and feed everyone. B, I think the B option, if you wanted to be, you wanted different foods to arrive, is you give all your different friends you're inviting a gift card to a different place for them to pick up food. And you'd be like, just pick out whatever you want to get from this place, but here it is.
What if we made America into 2 states?
Okay.
Yes, potluck and no potluck.
Yeah. Who the fuck would live in yes potluck?
I feel like potluck is the thing that when I've encountered colleagues, like it's a very Midwest type of thing. Where it's everyone, but it's also like everyone understands the rules. Kind of in the same way like with Cookie Party. Like everyone understands the rules of what Cookie Party is. Everyone is supposed to make cookies, bring them, exchange them.
Right.
And like when you come outside of that context and people don't get what the rules are,
Yeah.
they're like, well, I just bring cookies. So I guess I go to, the grocery store and buy the clamshell of cookies. That works.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're missing the point. Where in the same way in the Midwest, like everyone, I imagine, like there's like 9 crock pots.
Yeah.
Or like New Jersey would be honorarily like in the sort of the Italian funeral.
Giant
like,
Italian dinner.
Everybody's got like, crock pots or like big foil trays.
Sure.
Like that's basically if you go to a party or an event and you expect like like crock pots and big foil trays,
yeah,
you're in.
Right.
If you don't, like if you're like, I don't know what I would cook in a big foil tray,
yeah,
you're out. Like you're not a potluck place.
Yeah. That's just how it feels. I have a friend. Yeah, you're right. I think I feel like people here don't understand the rules.
Right.
And like maybe people who like potlucks think that people understand the rules and haven't attended a potluck somewhere that it's like, what the fuck? Like, it.
If you had to, like, if you have to direct people to say, like, this crock pot is part of where the theming helps with the potluck to say, like, this is a crock pot potluck to be like,
yeah,
can you make it in a crock pot? That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you bring a bunch of queso dip? As long as you made it in the crock pot, like
right.
I don't care if you just like poured a bunch of queso dip and salsa into your crock pot and mixed it together, still counts.
Well, and like the rules too need to be like, look, if you're going to bring a store-bought item, you're going to have to do me the courtesy of trying to fake that you made it. You
right.
know what I mean? Like
you have a platter, you have like some tongs.
Yeah.
You have enough, like you brought some type of like bread or tortilla or pita or thing to go alongside it.
Yeah. I have a friend who, what her office does every year, it's like the week of Thanksgiving, but before Thanksgiving, they do a chili cook-off in the office. And she's like, so what happens is like, it's a small office, so there's like maybe 12 people, and it's like 12 crock pots all plugged in, and like the sort of mixture of smells is like just ghastly. Like it's just horrible. And then it's like, maybe we should all eat a food that's kind of famous for giving people gas and diarrhea, and like even when it's correctly prepared and like and it's good, it's
people
like,
saw that episode of The Office. I think there's a chili cook-off.
Oh, was there?
I think so. Well, there's the guy who brought in the big pot of chili.
Oh, yes. Kevin brought in his chili that he spilled all over the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think there's the idea of people romanticize the idea of like having a bunch of chili at work.
Yeah.
But don't think about like, oh, when I watch that on TV, I don't have to smell it.
Yeah. I think too, for me, there's like a food safety issue. Because like, okay, when I'm cooking for myself, I am a little fast and loose compared to if I'm cooking for someone else. Because like, I don't like, I'll put in a spoon to taste something and then use the same spoon again. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I'm the only one fucking eating this. Like, who cares? But like, I wouldn't do that if I was bringing food for a potluck.
The more dramatic version might be like, do you let your cats on the counter?
Yeah.
Like that's the sort of, do you let your cats on the counter or not? If you do, like maybe you got to put a note on your pot and be like, where my cats go.
Yeah. Or like, when I'm cooking at home and I pull out like a long brown hair, it's Poon Master Flexes, and it doesn't bother me at all. But like, if I just pulled out a long hair out of someone else's food, I'm like, oh, I don't love that. I think potluck is fucking dumb. It's like you put in a shitload of work to eat. Like if I'm going to put in a bunch of work and make like a giant tray of lasagna, I want to eat it. Or it's like, there's no gray area for me where I'm like, well, I wanted to make this food. And you know what else? I don't want to make food for work. Like, those aren't my friends. Some of them are, but not all of them.
You'd make food for them because they're your friends. You're not making food for them just because.
If I wanted to make food for my friends, I would invite my friends to come eat food that I made. But I don't want to just make food. I don't want to be obligated to make food for everyone because we occupy the same office.
See, I think I've gotten the idea of how I approach potlucks. And I think this is the correct answer for everyone. This is my hot take.
Okay.
Is you use every potluck as an opportunity to experiment with a recipe.
Uh-huh.
If the recipe doesn't work out, they just don't go to the potluck.
I guess.
Where I say like especially when I have like the cookie parties where I'm like, I'm gonna make a type of cookie that I've never made before.
Oh, sure.
And I'm like, if these cookies work out, I'm going. If these cookies suck, I'm staying home. Like I'm just gonna be like, I can't make it.
Yeah. I think that works with cookies in my mind because like a C+ cookie is still okay. Right. You know what I mean? It's not like whatever, but
when I made cookies last time for a cookie party, I made cookies that worked out pretty well with one problem to them. In that I made what is described as movie theater cookies.
Uh-huh.
Where it's basically like you take a bunch of cookies and you throw a bunch of different movie theater candy and popcorn into them.
Okay.
And they worked out really well with the one exception of hot tamales. Like hot tamales are a pretty good movie theater candy. Not the best.
Right.
But like it movie theater candy, solid choice.
Right.
But put into a cookie, it doesn't like melt down or expand very well.
It just kind of keeps it
still there.
Phallic shape.
Very vaguely phallic, a little too big shape. Or if I wanted the same experience, if I were to do the recipe again, I would go with Red Hots.
Right.
So it's like gives you that thing, but like in a smaller,
what's the correct size for a cookie.
Correct size thing. Interestingly enough, when I was making them, friend of the show Jen was more skeptical of the Milk Duds.
Oh yeah.
Than of the than anything else.
Yeah.
But the Milk Duds, like they melted.
Maybe
kind of came like caramel, like distributed throughout this little band
nice
of the
little
cookie.
Goo.
Yeah, like this little one gooey spot. They're like, when someone bites into it, like, oh, that's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, see, that makes sense to me. And like, here's the thing. If you brought those cookies to the cookie party and they were not great, I still would be like, well, he clearly made an effort. Mm-hmm. This is clearly not a cookie that was like bought at the store. You know what else? I'm going to say for cookie party. All right. You're going to buy cookies. You got to buy a cookie like a crumble or something.
The crumble. Or
I'm not going to be pissed if you do that. You know what I mean? Because that's acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same effort as making from home, but it is a much stronger effort than
you have to go like high. You have to go moderate to high effort. Like if you get the clamshell from the grocery store, that is the low effort.
Yes.
I don't give a shit.
If I can see the barcode on the package, I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to work. But yeah, potluck. Fuck that shit.
So basically the part of the thing it comes to with the potluck, like it seems like your problem is that it's not the concept itself, it's that people are not putting enough effort into it.
I think also though, like I feel the effort I put into it because I have to make, for me, because like I cook for one,
right,
or two at the most, but basically I cook for one, and my normal thing is I cook for like, I don't know, 4 hours on a Saturday or something, and I'm done for the week, and I just eat the leftovers, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
To do a potluck, I have to cook that amount of food at least, probably even more, and put in that much effort, but I'm not going to get to eat it. And if I'm going to make that effort, I don't understand the philosophy of like, why don't you just make the foods you want to eat?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, just instead of making a food you want to eat and then exchanging 9/10 of it for foods that you may not want to eat, or like that might be terrible, or that maybe you do want to eat, but not right now.
I think it's like one of those, like, it's against that sort of loss of the original idea, that Midwestern thing of, I'm sharing a recipe with you. Like I'm sharing a recipe with a bunch of people all at once. And someone can say like, I like this recipe. Can I get it from you?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And so like the idea is that if you don't put forward like some level of effort.
Yeah.
The goal is to share your recipe. The goal is not to just have food.
You know what? I think this is the thing. Potlucks are good if everyone involved is taking pride in the potluck and is like envisioning everyone being like, this is amazing. You know what I mean? This is so good.
I have to put some effort into this.
Well, like there has to be like some weird desire in your mind to be like praised for what you made. And they're like, wow, this is really good, you know? And like, give me the recipe. As opposed to a situation where you're like, I'm phoning it in because I just kind of have to for work.
It's the thing where I found when I had to phone something in for work, I actually used the Too Good To Go app.
Yeah.
Where it like had, I don't know if it's as effective in Greeley, but it's an app where basically like restaurants, when they have leftover food.
Uh-huh.
And one thing I found is there's a bunch of donut places that have that. And they'll give you like, here's a box of day old donuts that is just like chock full.
Yeah.
And I can show up to an event with like 60 donuts.
Yeah.
And then you have a story of like, how did you get this many donuts? Like, how did you acquire this many donuts?
Sure.
I'm like, I got it on an app. Don't ask questions. Here you go.
But that's not a potluck, right? That's again showing up to a thing with a thing.
Once it was a potluck where it was assigned dessert. And I was like,
okay.
You know what? I'm going to Too Good To Go, get some wild number of donuts. And I was like, but I had a goal of saying I'm going to go for quantity. Like,
right.
Everyone's going to have something.
See, okay. It's fun. And like, I don't have an issue with day old donuts.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, there's a part of me that's like, look, if I just want to eat a donut, I guess I'm at a place of privilege in my life where I'm like, I'd rather just pay full price and eat like a fresh donut. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going to...
It's because there was a local donut place that was going to give me some weird donuts. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to get some like, it's going to have the thing with Oreo cookies or Andy's mints or like...
Yeah.
Kind of like, it was not going to be the kind of thing you would get at a clamshell from the grocery store. So that's the case where I could say like, you know what? It's not going to be that.
Yeah.
Like it will be interesting, if not always the highest quality.
Well, I think a donut is a food that's pretty hard to be disappointed by. You know what I mean? Like if I bite into a donut, even if I can tell it's a little older, I'm not like,
I'm not mad about
that. I wouldn't take one bite and then throw it in the garbage. You know what I mean? But like,
now, there was a hot take that was on there that talked about they dividing donuts up for a work function.
Oh, I hate that too.
Okay.
That is a huge pet peeve of mine.
So what is the smallest quantity you can divide up a donut? One, like in half.
A donut is a unit, period.
Oh.
If you can't...
You're a purist.
Yes, because this was actually a big thing at my old work. And it's like, okay, if you bring in donuts, if I brought in donuts, one time I brought in donuts and hid all the knives so no one could cut them and divide them because people would cut them, but not even into halves. They would, or bagels. They would cut them into thirds or quarters and then they would leave the rest there. But like, okay, if you cut a raised donut in half, the half that remains is mangled. It's smushed. The like icing is like cracked off of it. Half of it's just gone in the bottom. Nobody wants that. And so what everyone would do is, I come along, cut a donut in half. I'm not going to say me because I would never fucking do that. Some monster comes in, cuts a donut in half, eats half the donut, leaves the other half in the box. Another person comes along, cuts a different donut in half and eats that. And so my argument against it is like, if cutting a donut in half is a legitimate thing to do, why aren't people eating the half donuts that remain instead of cutting additional? Why do I open the box and there are 3 half donuts in there?
It's sort of the rule is basically like if you see 2 half donuts in a box, you have to take one of the half donuts or a full donut. Like you're like sort of, if you want a smaller portion, you have to get there early.
If you want a smaller portion, I give you 2 options.
Okay.
You can cut it in half, put the other half in a little baggie and take it home.
Well, if you take the whole donut, whatever you do with it beyond that, not our business.
Or you can cut the donut in half, eat half, and throw the other half away. I would rather you throw it in the garbage. It's your responsibility.
It's what you're coming to is take the whole donut. Whatever you do with the rest of the donut is up to you.
Yes.
Once it's your donut.
Yes.
It's no longer wasted food if you throw it away.
It's like the Assassin's Code. Like you saved that donut. you're responsible for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And like,
you've made the choice to save this donut.
The inevitable outcome of cutting donuts in half, I guarantee you, every fucking office in America has experienced this. If you allow people to cut donuts in half, when you bring in donuts, what will be left at the end of the day is the donut box with 1/2 donut and a dirty knife in it. Every single time. Every time.
I feel like that's also part of the rule is that if you're going to cut a donut into a half or into any level of pieces, you have to wash the knife.
Yeah. Yes. You don't just leave the knife in there so someone else can theoretically cut another donut. No. You've cut your donut. You're done with the knife. You wash the knife. You know what? If a second knife has to go into the dishwasher, that's fine. That is not a problem.
If you have plastic knives, then you throw away the plastic knife and someone has to get a new plastic knife. And if there are no plastic knives left, you have to either wash the knife or take the whole donut.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so militant about this. I used to argue about this with my old boss because she was a very petite lady and would often cut donuts in half because she's like, I can't eat a whole donut. And so when she retired, I brought in a box of donuts all cut in half, you know, because I was just like, you can have it your way this one time.
When you're retiring, like you can absolutely have, well, it's the kind of thing of like I get the impulse there of I don't want to waste food.
Sure.
And also I can't eat a whole donut. And I would also get it if you can do, maybe, I'm not saying that, like, maybe you can do this if you're getting extremely fancy exotic donuts. Like you're getting the donuts with Reese's peanut butter cups on them.
Sure.
Then you can cut them in half.
It's an 800 calorie donut.
Yeah. Where you're like, you're going to for like Colorado folks, like you're going to Voodoo Donut and you're getting something that's got like pretzels and chocolate and peanut butter. And
Sure.
You're like, I can cut those in half.
Yeah.
But like, again, if you're getting the clamshell from the grocery store.
Yeah. No.
That's fine.
Also, the concept of cutting the donut, it's like, I can't eat a whole donut. And it's like, well, how can you eat half a donut then? You know what I mean? Like, or it's like, it's healthier to eat half a donut. And I'm like, you're eating a donut. There's no healthy version of this. Like, just
there's the less harmful version.
Yeah, there's the slightly less, but like, what's the point? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But we did it.
Yeah, maybe you could ride the roller coaster at the theme park and just get off halfway.
That's one where it's significantly less helpful, like healthy to be like, I'm just gonna get off like I'm at the top here, nice and high.
You did the big drop. The ride's basically over. Why doesn't it just stop and you could just get off? I did
that big drop and I did that first loop, but I don't really want to do that big bend around here, so I'm just gonna hop off and
yeah.
There should be a little net to catch you, is what you're saying?
Yeah, or like you signed up for New York Marathon and you got in. Why run the whole thing? Just run half.
Yeah, just like
fuck it.
Once you shit your pants, you're done.
I don't want to run the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Be an adult.
Be an adult. Bail out of marathons. Bail out. You can bail out of marathons, but you have to finish your donuts.
No, you have to do the whole, whatever the thing is, that's the unit.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they don't sell donuts in half donuts. I mean, if they did that, that would be fine.
That's why they sell donut holes.
That's why they sell fucking donut holes. Get donut holes then.
So really what you're telling people is for their office, get a bunch of donut holes.
I think I'm telling people just don't bother. I used to live across from the donut shop.
Helpful Snowman's thing is like, I'm just telling people, just give up.
Just give up because like, okay, I used to live across the street from the donut shop. So I would usually bring in donuts. I worked the fourth Saturday of every month.
Mm-hmm.
So I would almost always bring in donuts. And like one time I didn't bring them because I like woke up kind of late. And it costs like $15 or something. And I was just like, there were many reasons. And like after having brought in donuts for like several months consistently on my Saturday, I didn't bring them. And like 2 or 3 different people were like, why didn't you bring any donuts? And I was like, why didn't you bring donuts? Fuck you. Like, how come I got to bring in donuts every weekend?
Why didn't anyone else in this office bring any donuts on any of these other days?
Yeah. Why did you? So like all that comes of it is everyone just expects you to bring in donuts every day now.
Mm-hmm.
That becomes your job description, is to provide donuts. And then people still cut them in half just to spite you. There you go.
There you go.
That's
just trust no one is really the message of Helpful Snowman.
Yeah, no good donut deed goes unpunished.
Exactly.
Whether it's from a dirty knife that you have to throw away or the donut box, which people don't seem to understand the spatial physics of, which is like, this is a paper box. You can just crunch it down and fit it in the garbage can.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to sit on top of the garbage can.
Someone else is going to also just do this and then like take it out. Like the janitor is also guaranteed going to do that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do if I was the janitor. It's like, it's not a pizza box. I know a pizza box can be hard to like crunch down or whatever. This is not that. This is like a box that a strong breeze will collapse.
It gets at the idea of how many people probably, and this is maybe my office space, which I'll go controversial, even though we're near the end of the episode.
Okay.
Is that like when I work in workspaces with a lot of women, women stereotypically don't take out the garbage. And so there's a lot of like, I just leave the thing on top of the garbage because like someone else just handles the garbage. Like a staff person who that's their job. Like it's the janitor handles it, or at my home, like my husband takes out the garbage. So like I don't mash the donut box in because my husband just takes care of that. And she's like, oh, I put it on top because like I think it will be better. But then like at home, the husband's just like, I just mash it in there with the other trash and it's fine.
Yeah. Maybe. It could be. I don't know. I don't know why people, because I think that's how I think of it is like, well, if I had to take this garbage out, what would I
mean, the real answer
just
is
a
like
box
you
sitting
break
there?
down the box and you put it in the bag.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to break down the box, you're like, oh, well, I put it on top of the trash, so I'm not the bad guy.
Right. I see what you're saying. Like it's the weird half measure.
Right.
Well, I've put it on top of the trash, so technically I threw it out or I've disposed of it.
I'm not the worst person here. It's the like, I am not the worst person.
I didn't just leave it on the counter.
But it's not like you can jump up and say like, I am the good person here and everyone else sucks.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
All right. But we did it.
That's all the heat for takes I have.
Yeah, I think those are some spicy hot takes. This will make the show more popular.
Yeah. Except in Alaska and Hawaii.
Yeah, but if they don't like it, they can come down here to the real United States and fight it.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Somebody should talk about two time. Talk about bum wine, yeah. You're asking